Humans of the cardboard, welcome back to Just Nuts, guys. Today we've got more Yu-Gi-Oh news coming from Duma Dimensions, the new core set after Duelist Advance. We've got a couple cool things revealed this week already, and we move forward with that with three brand new Solfachord cards. This was definitely not on my radar, but with some of the stuff that we've gotten that have kind of helped Ogdo Addicts out recently. Now with this, it does make you wonder for Sarctic, because those three archetypes all came out in the original same deck build pack. So we'll see if that's kind of where Konami wants to go with this. But still interesting. Three cards is a lot. They can do a lot with three cards here. And listen, it's a pendulum archetype, and it seemed to be one of those more kind of classic combo pendulum archetypes. But hey, if these cards are crazy, then maybe we're actually can start talking about Solfachord in an interesting light competitively. But we'll see. All right, so let's get started here. We have Solfachord Solfeggia. I don't know, forgive me on the pronunciation on some of these, but yeah. It's a level 2 light fairy. Pendulum 400 for the stats. Its pendulum scale is 9, which is massive. And its pendulum effect reads as follows. You can only use the pendulum effect of this card once per turn. When a monster effect acted by your opponent on the field resolves, if you control a Grand Solfachord monster, you can negate that effect, then destroy this card. Dang, so this card in scale becomes a negate while you have, I want to say the Grand Solfacords are the link monsters in the extra deck. Don't quote me on that. There may be some in the main deck as well. But as far as I know, I think the Grand Solfacords are maybe just the link monsters, but that's still a powerful effect. It is only on field and it is only monster negate, but that's a pretty good negation. So and it's on resolution too, which is one of those weird effects where you're able to pick and choose mid chain, and your opponent can't chain block you with a card like this on those types of effects. So pretty cool. That's a cool effect. You can only see first and second effect of this card once per turn as far as its monster effects go. If you control no monsters or all monsters you control are Solfachord monsters, you can special summon this card from the hand. Okay. Comes out of the hand really easily as well. Second effect, when you activate this effect, you can also tribute this card. During your main phase, you can special summon one Solfachord monster from your hand, except for another copy of itself. Or if you tributed this card at activation, you could special summon that monster from your graveyard or face up extra deck instead. Interesting. Okay. So you're either going to choose to pull one out of the hand, or you're going to tribute this card, which by the way would send it to the extra deck. In which case you would go in back from grave or extra. Pretty cool. This is a pretty good card. The fact that it doesn't take your normal, it's a decent extender with some good extension capabilities. Not a line on its own, but also like kind of a monster negate on field in scale once you rotate it around and get it into the scale. That's a cool card. That's a pretty good card. I'm not mad about that. Next up here we have Solfachord Primoria. This is another pendulum. This is a level 1 Earth Fairy. 0 attack, 400 defense, pendulum scale of 0. So a really high scale to start and now a really low scale. You like that. You want to see scales that are as high and low as you can possibly get to fit as many levels within them. Pendulum effect reads, when you pendulum summon a monster, you can target one Solfachord card in your pendulum zone, return it to the hand. That's not terrible. If you're just going to pendulum summon and you're not even going to really make use of your scales for the rest of the turn, it's better to add them back to hand and save them for next turn in a fashion where your opponent can't use back or removal on them to clear stuff out of the way and hurt your grind game. At least it's going to hand, so that way you can choose to use it in different ways next turn. It's pretty good though. As for its monster effects, says first and third effects are hard ones for turn. The first effect reads, if this card is normal or special summon, you can add a Solfachord card from your deck to your hand. That's just good. Cool. I think that already has a couple cards like this, a couple like Stratos monsters, but that's still good in its own right, so we're not complaining about that. Your activated Solfachord cards effects cannot be negated while you have Solfachord cards with even and odd pendulum scales in your pendulum zone. That's an interesting protection effect. I feel like it just maybe requires a little too much setup to get live, but if you do get it, it's pretty good. I mean, everything just resolves from that point forward, which is obviously just strong. And third effect, if you link summon a Solfachord monster, you can add one Solfachord card from your graveyard or face up extra deck to your hand. Um, that's such a fine effect. This effect doesn't impress me all that much because the weird thing with this is that this card, the way this is worded, this card has to be on field to activate this, which means you would have to have at least 3 Solfachord monsters on field already, link 2 off, and then trigger this card to then get an add back. It's not a terrible effect considering this card's already a Stratos to start, and then like a potential, add like recursion card with the scale effect, and then also here a potential recursion effect. Like, not saying it makes it a bad card. I'm just saying this effect in a vacuum in the way this archetype works is a little lackluster. I feel like unless they got a link 1, I don't know if I could really see this effect being like fully crazy. But it does get you materials back, so you're not complaining. Still a good card though, and nonetheless, because it's just a Stratos. And lastly, I have a new spell card. So no new boss monster, which is almost a little surprising. I almost would have expected them to try and make like a new boss monster for Solfachord, but hopefully this spell at least, pulls a lot of weight here. We'll see. This is Solfachord Happiness. It's a normal spell. Activate one of these effects. They are doing this left and right now. So this card says activate one of these effects, but you can only use each effect of this card once per turn. So it's going to have 3 different effects. You can pick a different effect. So this card is not once per turn at all. It just means the individual effects that are subsections of this card can only be used once per turn. The first one reads, discard 1 card, and if you do, add 2 Solfachord Pendulum monsters with different scales from your deck to your hand. Then you can special summon Solfachord Pendulum monsters from your hand up to the monsters number of monsters your opponent controls plus 1. Oh my, that's such a crazy effect, dude. That's so insane. Imagine a Rhoda that adds 2, then summons 1 of them. Bare minimum, by the way. So this is even going first. If your opponent controls 0, it's 0 plus 1. So you still get to like basically E-Tally and Rhoda at the same time at the cost of like discarding a card. Actually, it's not even cost. So if this gets ashed, you don't even lose a card in hand. Wow. That's a crazy first effect. That's just such a crazy search effect there. Second effect says, during your main phase this turn, you conduct 1 pendulum summon of a Solfachord monster or monsters in addition to your original. So you can choose just do a second pendulum summon that turn for Solfachords. And lastly, special summon 2 Solfachord monsters. Excuse me. From your pendulum zone. So if you did double scales, maybe you couldn't keep going or whatever, you got stopped at some point, just pulling 2 out of the scales could also be kind of nice. All right. I mean, this card's crazy. The first effect to me is clearly the best one. I think they kind of go in order, to be honest, of how much I think that they would come up. The first one's going to come up so much more than the other 2. In fact, I'm not even sure which cards actually count as like starters in this deck. So this could be a very, very needed like power card to like open one consistency, but also like, guarantee that you have a crazy 2-card combo is really good. The second effect obviously can be really broken. It can turn a good board into a crazy board, I would think. And then I don't know what Solfachords, if they lock you out of anything specifically, but if they don't, then like even crazier. And then summon 2 from scale. I think that's the least impressive one from here because it requires you to kind of get that set up at least. But I don't know. But yeah, I don't know enough about Solfachords to know where this technically leaves them. Pendulum archetypes have been struggling for a minute. I feel like Melodious is maybe the best pendulum deck we've seen in a minute, and that deck's not even a pendulum deck. It just has 2 really powerful pendulum cards as part of their main engine. So yeah, pendulum decks struggle. These cards are good though. Like these cards just plain and simple are powerful Yu-Gi-Oh cards. So it's going to be hard to judge them on exactly how much they're going to be able to shift the deck up tier wise. I don't expect it to go crazy because like as good as these cards are, I have a hard time believing they are enough. I didn't read them and I didn't feel like as I was reading them, it was hitting me to be like, oh my God, pendulums are solved. This is the renaissance of pendulum. And so if I'm not having those feelings, I have to assume that like they're nice for the deck. We're not complaining, but I think overall it probably puts us in a position where we're not you know, we can't expect this deck to move up like into legit competitive status. But still cool nonetheless. If you're a big fan of this deck, let me know your thoughts down below here. Like I said, I've never played it, so if you think I'm wrong, throw it down in the comment section down below. Let me know how crazy you think these cards are, how much better they make the deck, and where the deck sits kind of post this support in your opinion. But I'm out of here for today. Thank you so much for watching. As always, guys, subscribe to the channel for more things from me down the line, Yu-Gi-Oh! Wise. And I will see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching. Peace.